Hello Internet, welcome back. I, as always, am Crabblesworth. Today I'm joined by
Clarence,
aka
Ski Mask Mohawk,
aka Clarence.
And
we've had a few drinks because we have to play 40K. It's kind of like seeing your ex-wife. Anyway, today we're doing a fun game. Fun, remember, you have to stay positive even when you don't feel positive because that will not form a complex. So, I'm bringing Orcs, which you know sums up, right? I'm bringing Orcs. Bringing Dread Mob, which apparently is like an outdated list. I didn't really know that. So, what's the story with it anyway?
Well, what happened was in 5th Ed they released Castole Novum.
Right.
And then in 6th Ed they updated it to match the release. And then 7th Ed they released the new Codex Orcs.
Oh, that was that war crime they committed to them,
Yeah.
Well, the Hague has to hear that one, so. Anyway, I will make do with Orcs not being the greatest army ever. Mm-hmm. Clarence will make do with kicking my ass with an awesome army of amazingness. If you lose to me, I will laugh. I will dance upon your grave. Anyway, so yeah, Dread Mob versus Raven Guard. Actual Raven Guard this time.
Raven Guard counts as Raven Guard.
So wait, why didn't you take like a better trade? What happened?
Oh, because to use Corvidae, he has to be taken with a Raven Guard list.
Right.
And I like using Corvidae.
Well then, actual Raven Guard for once, ladies and gentlemen. So, unlike people down at your local FLGS, we play with terrain rules as follows. There's this river you can see that spans the entirety of the board. That's just plain old dangerous terrain, but it doesn't give anyone any cover. It will still count as terrain for the purposes of charging and whatnot, but there's really no benefit to being in there because it's a frickin' river. I said frickin' there, I really should have said fucking. Fucking river. Anyway, we have a church. This will function sort of like a ruin, but other than giving 4+ save, that's pretty much it. You can't really be inside it. You have to be getting cover from obscurement. There's no magic bubble terrain mechanic. We do have some area terrain on the board in the form of forests, like here and all the way over there. These will provide a 5+ cover save to like units that aren't vehicles or MCs, essentially, and if they're inside that bubble. But they're also fairly impassable to stuff going across because we can't pull the trees off. This is a classic ass ruin, same shit as this guy, 4+ cover save, but you need obscurement to get that. It's only really difficult when climbing between floors, moving across a floor we won't consider difficult. Again, same thing with this guy, and critical to note, we don't play with melting through walls, so you can only fit where you can go. If there's a gap here, you can move through it. If not, then you can't. We have what we call destructible terrain on the board. Be a low cover like this. There's also the oak equivalent there. This offers 5+ cover. If you're obscured by it, you can also just ram into it with a vehicle or move on to it with an MC and take your dangerous for your vehicle. If not, MC just removes it. What else? Over here we have some weird orc terrain, as you can see. This is kind of custom. We'll probably just do it similar to the ruin. So it gets you a 4+ cover save. To climb, you would go up here and climb, normal mechanic. Moving across the tops wouldn't be difficult. There is some stuff that would just look like impassable because it's very sharp and scary. What else? We have some low bunkers from these, or low cover from these. These just work just like the sandbags do, 5+ destructible. And last but not least, we have one last piece of area terrain I forgot to mention over here. It'll work just like the forest, 5+ cover if you're in it, but not for vehicles or MCs. So yeah, those are our terrain rules. We will tell you about our armies and other such things, and then we'll start the game. Okay, so here's my 2,000 points Orc Dread Mob Forge Road list. Starting up front here, we have my big mech with his claw and his force field thing in mega armor. He's also got his homie, other big mech, who has the dead shiny shooter. And they're in a mech boy Junka with the better armor, 2 twin-link rocket launches, and a Scorcher. Moving on, we have 5 kilocans here on one unit. 4 of them have Gratzukas, and one of them's got a Scorcher. They all have Grot, whatchamacallit. What are they called? The Grot things that repair?
Grot Riggers.
Grot Riggers, there we go. So it just basically means the it will not die USR. Behind them, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Def Dreads, all with the Grot Riggers. 3 of them have the 3 Dreadnought Close Combat Weapons and a Scorcher. And one of them here has 2 Dreadnought Close Combat Weapons, a missile launcher, and a KMB. Over here we have Spanner Boys, 12 of them to be exact, with shooters. They're in a scrap truck with Grot Riggers. Behind them, 2 units of burner boys. There's 1 mech in each with a KMB, and they are both in their scrap trucks. Got 3 def copters there with the twin-link rocket launches. We have a big track over here with super cannon or whatever it's called, and 2 shooters and the Grot Riggers, of course. Behind that, we've got a Daka jet with the Flyboss upgrade and the extra gun, and 2 Mecha Dreads, or whatever called Mega Dreads. One of them's got a Scorcher and a shooter, the other one's got 2 shooters, and of course they both have the kill cannon things. So yeah, that is 2,000 points of Orc Dread Mob. Oh, and my Warlord trait is the one that lets you reroll Still Initiative and stuff like that.
Since my 2,000 point Raven Guard counts as Raven Guard force, starting out from got 10 Thundernators, a squad of 5 scouts with Melta Bomb on Sergeant and a Land Speeder Storm, level 2 Divination Librarian with Melta Bomb and counts as Power Axe, Corvidae, who's my Warlord, counts as Javelin Attack Speeder with the Cyclone Launcher upgrade. Got 2 5-man assault squads with Melta Bomb on Sergeant and Flamers and their troops because of Corvidae. Got a Venerable Dreadnought with the Multi-Melta Power Fist. Got a Thunderfire Cannon, Contemptor Dreadnought with Assault Cannon and Graviton Fist and Triumph of Ullanor upgrade. Got Storm Talon with Typhoon Launchers. 10-man Devastator Squad with Las Cannons, and a Stalker with Storm Bolter. And my Warlord trait is Coordinated Assault.
Orcs won the rule to go first, so I have deployed and whatnot. We ended up with corners for deployment because we're sane. So over here I've got my mech boy Junka with the big mechs inside of it. Got my big track back here. Squad of 5 kilocannons here. Big mech here. Got one of my troop choice Def Dreads back behind that. Both the Scorcher Boy squads are back here. Got my Spanner Boy squad in there. And these guys did their 12-inch scout move up to there. And that's pretty much it for deployment. I'll talk about reserves. Okay, so in reserve, I have 3 separate Def Dreads, 1 Mega Dread, and my Def plane?
Sure.
What's it called again? Daka Jet. There we go. I play Orcs all the time, I swear.
This is Raven Guard counts as Raven Guard side. Got a unit of 5 combat squad with Thundernators with Librarian next to them. Got a Stalker, Contemptor, 5-man Assault Marine squad, other Dreadnought, combat squadded last cannon dev team in fortified building, the other half of them in the same fortified building, Thunderfire, 5 Assault Marines with Corvidae, the Javelin, the other half of the Terminator squad, and the Storm. And onto reserves. Alright, so Raven Guard counts as Raven Guard, only reserves is the Storm Talon.
The end of Orc Dread Mob turn 1, starting over here. My stuff moved up as much as possible, as can be seen, as we glide along this way. A similar theme presents itself. Very few things chose to shoot because running was the operative method. The kill cannon from here fired at Clarence's tank right here, scattering in between these two, hitting both but doing nothing. The guy over here. Oh, the glance? Okay. Yeah. The guy over here fired into the same target, scattering over there, hitting 3 Marines and the speeder, doing nothing. And those copters fired 3 twin-link rockets at the land speeder Storm, doing nothing but making it jink, I believe. Or no? I can't remember.
It did jink.
It did jink? Okay, cool. So not much happening turn 1. We'll see you at the end of Raven Guard turn 1.
This is the end of Raven Guard counts as Raven Guard turn 1. Starting over here. Terminators moved up. This was shaken, so I didn't shoot anything. The Relic Javelin shot the truck there, and he made both his cover saves through the hovering guys in Night Fight.
Night Fight.
Over here, he presenced the Terminators. The Stalker shot at these guys, didn't penetrate the armor. The Assault Cannon carries killed Deuterino. It was fun. The Combat Squad of Las Cannons put a hull point on the cans as well. The Thunderfire failed to get through the armor. These 2 last cannons failed to hit. the cans, and the Venerable Dread failed to hit the thing. Yeah. And that's it. See you guys at the end of Orc Turn 2.
Welcome to Turn 2. Starting over here. So, my reserves came in. I've got this guy walking in on. Got this guy walking off reserve. I got this guy walking off reserve. Dakajet flew in off reserve. And we're still waiting for one Death Dread who didn't quite make it. Moving back over here. So this Death Dread fired his kill cannon at Clarence's Venerable Dreadnought, causing a hull point. This Death Dread did nothing. The Mechboy Junka fired 2 twin-lick rocket launches at the same Dreadnought, which did nothing. Death Dread weathered the storm of the river to make it across. This kill cannon is mobilized there. My Warlord got out with his shield thing, he's just chilling there. The remainder of my cans pushed in and charged Clarence's Terminators, and the result was pretty disastrous. I still have one left alive in combat. The other 2 guys got hurt. This Mega Dread fired on Clarence's Stalker and did not do anything, I don't believe.
Kill the Duder.
Oh, that's right. Scatter killed the Duder. The guys in here just kind of pushed up. The plane, Dakajet, fired at the Terminators, killing 2, I believe. Mm-hmm. Not bad. Over here, my Spanish boys got out and took some cover behind there, and they fired, I think, 24 shots at the Terminators, but I don't believe there were any successes there. Moving down, I attempted to get into the river with this truck, but I got immobilized, and my dudes got out, and I lost one in the river because it was dangerous. And yeah, so overall, not a terrible turn, not super great. If I didn't mention it, this thing also shot and did something, the hull point or something.
Scattered, killed a guy.
That was it. So yeah, so going okay. We'll see you at the end of Raven Guard Turn 2.
This is the turn 2 of Raven Guard counts as Raven Guard. Starting with the reserves, my plane did in fact come in. And I guess just starting from over here, I failed to shoot down his plane or cause a hull point, but it did make him jink. My Terminators charged in to assist the scouts in combat. I lost many dudes in the combat and made his lone jet bike crew run away. My Javelin put 2 hull points on his truck. My Thunderfire failed to wound these guys because it missed. Moving down over here, I hit twice with the Stalker on some sort of can-like construct, but I failed to do any damage. My boys here blew up the last Dreadnought, or can, or whatever you call it. Double las cannon guys here, got 2 pins on his, this thing, the Mega Death Dreadnought. I passed his cover save. These guys, I think, failed to damage his big basilisk. The Venerable shot and charged the Junka, or whatever the hell it's called, and put it back into the garbage bin. And that's it for Raven Guard counts as Raven Guard Turn 2. See you at the end of Orc Turn 3.
End of Orc Turn 3. Dread Mob Styles. Starting over here. This guy got immobilized because of rivers. Over down here, Big Mac moved over to support. This Death Dread charged Clarence's Venerable Dreadnought and venerated it. This guy joined in, but it was already too late to do any damage. This combat here ended up breaking, of course, and then I shot at their leader, who wasn't their leader, just a librarian, and I killed him with this guy here, with some aid from these fine young gentlemen. This guy fled from his combat over there, ended up here. Moving on down yonder. My big squad of Spanner boys opened fire on the Terminators, but I don't believe it hurt them. The truck also attempted, but didn't hurt. This squad of Burna Boys moved up in that truck. This squad of Burna Boys shot at and charged the Terminators, killing 1, I believe, but also losing 1 in return for a tied combat. So overall, oh yeah, that plane back there also fired at and took out the Thunderfire cannon, so Clarence must hate me currently. But yeah, so not a terrible turn for my Orc Dread mob. We shall see you at the end of Raven Guard Turn 3.
So this is the end of Raven Guard counts as Raven Guard Turn 3. Starting right here. We got the Scout Sergeant charged in, mopped up the last of the 2 Burna Boys and the Combat Terminator, both consolidated. Lance Speeder Javelin took out the one truck and didn't explode it yet, but hopefully that'll be coming soon. Here, my assault marines flamed through the top of the enemy orc truck with the Burning Boys, dealing 11 wounds from their open top vehicle thing before killing the truck itself. Over here, the Terminators lost 2 charging in, one from the fire, one from the grippy like claw, but they held in combat. Moving on over here, not the Lance Speeder, but the Storm Talon took out your boy Big Shiny Shooter with his assault cannon, being a big dick. And the Contemptor shoot the Graviton shot at the Death Dread there, stripping its last wound, hull pointing the Mega Dread and creating dangerous and difficult. And then finishing up over here, the Stalker put another hull point and stunned, it looks like, the Plane Maximus. And that's it. See you at the end of Orc turn 4.
End of Orc's turn 4, Dread Mob. Moving down here, my last reserve came in off the edge and then ran 2 inches towards the objective. This guy almost ran off the edge but didn't. This big gun moved up and fired on Corvier's squad, missing, scattering, killing 1 guy, I believe. Those poor orcs, Phantom Boys, moved into the dangerous river, lost a guy from that, and then attempted a failed charge on Corvier's unit, losing a couple guys from Flamers from Overwatch. Wall of Death. Down here, this combat between the Mega Dread and Clarence's Terminator has ended in a tie. Down here, immobilized guy with the Flamer did not contribute much. Other immobilized Death Dread with Flamer didn't contribute very much. My Big Meg moved up 6. Big Meg moved up 6 here. Mega Dread also moved up 6. Attempted to charge on him, rolling a 4 and being out by about 3 millimeters. Yay! So not the greatest turn ever for orcs, but we'll see you at the end of Raven Guard turn 4.
Alright, so this is the end of Raven Guard, counts as Raven Guard turn 4, starting over here. I moved these guys into the Danjuru and burninated his Spanner Boys. I moved this guy up here, didn't get immobilized, and exploded his big kaboomy thing. Terminator and Mega Dread just didn't do anything to each other. This shot at the orc thing, got 2 hits, didn't do anything like usual. These also shot at him and made his cover saves. Just over here, the Storm Talon moved up, shot at the side, failed to get any damage with its assault cannon. And here my Contemptor charged in, hit every time with the Triumph of Ulnor, then exploded it. Which exploded the Mega Dread.
There you go.
Which exploded the wrecked Venerable Dread. And there's a lot of explosions, and that's it for Raven Guard, counts as Raven Guard turn 4. See at the end of Orc turn 5.
So at the end of Orc's Dread Mob turn 5, and I've conceded the game because there's very little left on the board that can't move. So starting over here, we've got my 1 Death Dread scoring this, so that's my 1 objective I'm holding for 3 victory points. I also got First Bloods for a total of 4 victory points. Moving down, unfortunately, no one had this one. Clarence claimed that objective there. He also claimed the other objective over there. And he had, I don't think he had Linebreaker. He did get Warlord, so he has 7 to my 4. So, 7 to 4. Not terrible. Orcs could have done better, but we'll see you in the post-game show. Hello, Internet. Welcome to the post-game show. Clarence, how did you enjoy the game?
There were some enjoyable results that were rolled.
There were narratives forged, one might say. I thought it was a perfect example of why I'm selling my orc army.
I thought it was a perfect example of why I'm selling my orc army too.
Oh, right, yeah. I mean, it was interesting having all those very slow walkers that sacrificed all shooting to get even the chance of a combat.
And didn't take any life preservers to get to that river.
No, Dangerous was an interesting choice for that river. That's all my fault.
Yeah, you chose it.
That's my choice. I don't know. I thought it was an interesting look into the past. Perhaps. Wondering what they'll ever do to change Dread Mob for 7th, if they ever do it. Or orcs in general. I dropped an objective marker. I didn't hate the Killicans because they actually got a fucking charge job. The Mega Dreads were sort of disappointing.
They did something.
I don't know. After you like one-shotted my guy in the nuts, he like fucking fails his invul save and gets destroyed. With like no hull points on him prior. That was great. No, I fixed it with my
that's right, yeah.
It will not die is terrible.
Hey, I repaired 3 wounds on my Chaos Lord the other day.
I get that they want to make like the mechs important for fixing specific shit, I guess, but it's sort of like, oh, cool, I can take my hull points off. That will help me unimmobilize myself. Like, I had these guys sitting there who had no hull points but immobilized, so their whole thing was combat. I don't know if I would have done anything differently. I mean, there's not much point waiting for you to come to me.
No, really, it's just like the side. If you could have gone like either of these sides, there would have been no river to like traverse through.
Yeah. I don't regret holding my reserves, but it was more just so I could use the board edge to be where I wanted to be. I didn't feel like I had much chance going into it either. You've got mobility and firepower. I've got orcs. Yeah. That's something, right?
Yeah.
What was your MVP?
Maybe the Flamer guys. They like toasted some orcs.
That was a forced narrative. I love how the orcs are right here, okay? They're right in the river. And of all the places to be lit on fire, like to be standing in water, like completely incinerated. You took out, what, like 9 of them?
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. That was our 9/11 moment.
I like the previous, like, driving in your car, getting ready to flame. They just, like, fucking, like, walked up, stood on, like, the hatch, and just, like...
You counter-flamed flamers.
Yeah.
You anti-flamed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was ironic and humorous. Epic fail.
I don't know.
Venerable?
I don't know, he fucked your thing up, kind of.
Oh yeah, he killed the junker, never mind.
Yeah.
Which is junk, by the way.
No, it was the Storm Talon. It literally did nothing.
Oh yeah.
No, it killed your dead shiny shooter guy. It did something more.
Okay, yeah, 40-point model.
But he was a cool 40-point model.
He had a dead shiny shooter, so it was shiny and shooter.
Yeah, so it killed him. I don't know, maybe the last cannon guys, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, I get it. Well, no, they kept hitting, they kept penning, and they kept getting fucked on cover. Like every time, it'd be like a 5+ cover, so he would just make it for whatever reason.
Yeah, so it was either them or maybe the Thunderfire.
He didn't really get a chance, yeah. He got taken out early.
Got 2 shots, didn't hit.
I actually, I think I'm going to go with Dakajet for MVP. In his very few acts that he took, he was fairly effective. Well, he took out 2 turnies, that wasn't terrible.
And the Thunderfire. And then got intercepted.
It's like the only good shooting I have in the entire list, basically. Yeah. I don't know. This is I feel if I could pontificate on Warhammer 40k, if you would allow me, dear viewer, I think it's sort of the folly of theme versus, I guess, effectiveness. Like, it's very easy for me to be like, well, you should just make your list shitty to play against my themed list. But really, that's not an expectation I think you can only have, necessarily. Just as an example, literally everything that could had Grot Riggers, i.e. it will not die on them, died all the same. So it's sort of like, theme can cost one a little bit too much. I feel like this list, if it was sort of in the bigger scheme of things, if it was like a bigger game, it would be interesting to kind of add some flavor, but on its own, it walks very slowly, and it sort of shakes the fist at things as they, like, jokingly maneuver around it. I think Tau would have had a fucking laugh at this. They would have been like, oh, you want to assault me? Well, I'm just going to go around the corner. Like, oh, come back. I don't know. What did you think?
I don't know. The river kind of, like, blocked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things from going anywhere. pretty much like half your army.
Yeah.
Honestly. Your like HQ choices was filled with like shit, to be honest. Like
yeah, it's not a good list in that sense by any means. The KFF is fucking terrible now. It used to like project out and help people around it. It still does, as long as you don't get into a vehicle.
Projects like White Knights do. Like.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just sort of like I had it in the junker and I'm like, oh, that was a poor choice.
Yeah.
And then it was by the time you got out to try and help, it was too late. I also for some reason thought it was just a straight invul, anyone within range. Then read the fine print and noticed it was just for shooting.
So you have to read the fine print.
I charged into you his dreadnought and then like just completely fucking whiffed and then it's like, oh, by the way, I thought I had invul. I don't. Dead. So, yeah, a lot of this was just my not doing the homework on rules. That was definitely part of it. But a lot of it too is taking a themed list that's very fluffy and fun, but not really fun. I don't know, did you enjoy playing it?
I don't know, like, I'm extremely tired, but no, again, I think the river drains some of the challenge out of it.
It was a good ally of yours.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, it would have just been like Operation Mop Up a bit more.
That's true, yeah.
Like, nothing would have really changed.
Nah, I feel as if I should have held my copters back a little bit because they were one of my few maneuverable units. Mm-hmm. But even those, man, were not.
As it stands, they maneuvered great. Off the board.
They did. I did kill a Terminator with them, so that's sort of like a small victory. I don't know. I definitely think selling them will be a benefit to myself and to my shelf space.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's still many more orcs to be painted.
Oh, yes, there are. That's just one of my orc armies.
Yeah.
It's not proud. We're collectors now. We're not gamers anymore. I guess that's it on the game. I believe Fox, hey Fox, wanted to know about how your tournament went.
My tournament of the
last tournament you there.
Well, I played 2 Tyranid players and I massacred them, and then I played the Necron Decurin with Caneptic Harvest and Destroyer Cult formations, and I lost turn 6. If it had ended on turn 5 and my speeder hadn't immobilized itself, then I would have won it, or that round at least. But as it stood, because of how battle points and like Maelstrom objectives and all that landed, I got the like total loss points. Then I lost against Eldar guy with stuff for the last round. So I got 8th out of 20 people. It was bad. It was fairly enjoyable.
How did you enjoy Maelstrom?
It didn't really add much to the game. Yeah. Like, I didn't mind playing it, but it really didn't, again, add much. Whoever was winning for all my practice games and in the tournament, whoever was winning just tended to snowball their win like even further with it, because you're on the objectives, you're killing who needed to die already. That often like was there like scoring units who could contest and or like do the Maelstrom stuff.
Are they keeping that format for Bloodbath?
Logan may be changing it. I think he was tweaking 1 or 2 things. I don't exactly remember what, but I think it might have been the have 3 of your units in your deployment zone without any enemy units in it one, because that's pretty fucking impossible. Like, let's be honest, especially like the stronger tournament armies like Necrons, Eldar, Space Marines.
There's
you
always
can
that
all get into their DZ like turn 1, turn 2, like right away.
It's just sort of equating something as monumental as that to other,
to kill
let's say, simpler tasks.
Stay on the objective you're already on. Like,
yeah, exactly. Move your 1 jet bike into range of that thing.
Yeah. It's just very, very hard to get. When I had my practice game against Kane, we both got that one a few times, and I had like 8 OS units in his deployment zone. He had like 3 Falcons and like stuff in mine. We just kind of laughed at it. Like,
yeah, it's sort of like not getting done.
No.
I feel like that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But what can you do? I guess what else do we usually do on this show? Talk about 7th edition?
That is usually what is talked about.
I feel like 7th ed is okay, except for all the 8-pop stuff.
Formations?
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. Well, Necrons don't need them. Eldar don't need them. Marines do not need them.
Could be worse. They could have taken away points values.
Yeah, well, it's...
Age of Sigmar.
Watch just in time for Chaos Codex to come out. They'll realize that they can't patent the word chaos, and we'll have our own like complete destruction of the game. I mean, Age of Sigmar looks fun.
Looks like it could be enjoyed by many if they weren't expecting to have to play fantasy.
I think it's one of those things where, like with 40k, where you have point costs and you can still complain and go, well, that thing's broken, it's undercosted or it's overcosted. If you don't even have that, I can see a lot of strife when you have people having their fun games initially with their handful of models when they try and bring it up a bit and up a bit and up a bit, and homie's got like 3 times the fucking models you do.
It's not even like the model count. You can, there's like, the one thing they're trying to do is make a like Warm Horde synergy kind of skirmish game.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there's some very strong synergy stuff you can pull out. But if there's like, because of the no points, it's not like, oh, well, like the Cetra and his like night snake friends are like gonna rampage through your army. But like at least that's like all I have. It's normally it's just like, whoa, that's my collection. Like I
can design some wonderful plates with very nice side dishes at a buffet. The problem is
everyone will pay the same price to get into the buffet, right? Like, that's the thing.
It's like I think people with the best of attitudes and intentions will still have a problem with AOS, but for the simple fact that you cannot balance it.
For sure, yeah, and that's like the point. It's like we have like a friend of ours like has literally that list I just talked about, Cetra and Night Snakes, and he really loves them. He had like 12 snakes like fully painted up, like his army. He absolutely loves Tomb Kings.
Yeah.
Is a very competitive mindset player, but like again loves Tomb King's first fantasy army. But like if he goes to like say to the local like FLGS called Fandom for like a pickup game of like AOS, and he gets like grief for this quite strong army, like what then? It's not like, oh, you should have made like a weaker list, like, but it's all the same strength technically, right?
Yeah,
like
it goes back to the whole.
You should have limit yourself to not the models you absolutely like. Like he never got to use Cetra in the old book. He's like excited to try him out in a tournament coming up next Saturday actually. And,
I'll give it a shout out there.
Yeah, it's Kobold's Corner, run by Will of Paul.
And that's still 1+ armor, I think, as well.
It's Canhammer, I think.
Canhammer, okay.
They're very closely affiliated.
Yeah, synergized.
Yeah, just like AOS. Yeah. And but yeah, he never really got to use Cetra before. He's excited to try him out now and paint up the model. But like, if he gets grief for using this, like I'd say in a different FLGS, what is he going to say? Like, listen, like I've only gotten to start to use this model now, like can I not use this model I've absolutely loved but never got to use before?
I think it's funny because the same people who probably would grief him are the ones who are like, have you even played the game yet? Oh, clearly you have, and you know more than me.
So, yeah,
so I'm just gonna shit on you.
Just like enjoy taking their models, having a fun game, like chillaxing.
Fun being relative.